What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Zachary Smith. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell if you are new or if you just haven't subscribed yet. There's a lot of people that watch these videos that are not subscribed yet. I don't know why that happens on YouTube. Absolutely free to do so. Best way to help me grow the channel. Trying to get more consistent with posting on here, so I'd greatly appreciate if you guys do subscribe for me, hit that button down below, and also that notification bell, very important, because as of right now I do not have like a regular posting schedule. Just when I have the time to do so, trying to post. So if you do that, you'll know when a new video is posted. Doing something a little different today, not predictions for the event in terms of the outcome of the event, but we are firmly on the road to WrestleMania now. Last PLE before just took place in Elimination Chamber. Obviously, talked about that a ton, the John Cena heel turn. And I'm going to dive into what I think the card is going to look like for WrestleMania night 1 and night 2. I'm not going to be like, hey, this match night 1, hey, this match night 2. Just in totality, what the two nights together are going to look like. And I got way too many matches in here. So, like, I'm curious to see how Triple H and company are going to be able to fit this into two nights with all the stories that they're telling right now. And I guess that's the thing. They're not going to be able to, right? There's going to be a lot of talent that's left off of this WrestleMania card. They're going to try to sell it as, the Friday before, Monday after being the same in the matches that don't get fit on that WrestleMania card taking place then. And I really feel for the talent that there's just so much, man. Like, there's too many people, not enough time, not enough matches to take place on these cards. So I figured let's start out with the ones that I feel like they're in pen. They've either already been announced, then we'll get into ones that I feel like it's definitely going to happen, and then ones I'm kind of just like I can kind of see happening, and then some stuff I'm just throwing against the wall right now. But yeah, let's dive into it. Obviously, the main one to talk about here, WWE Undisputed Championship, Cody Rhodes versus John Cena. John Cena turning heel at Elimination Chamber, as I alluded to before. Also have an entire video kind of talking about that heel turn on the channel. If you want to go and check that out, be sure to do so. But I cannot wait for this build. John Cena obviously going to be around a lot more here on the road to WrestleMania, you would think. We'll see how many appearances he is making. Obviously, they like the European tour and stuff that's going to be taking place. You would like to think he's going to be a big part of that, and I feel like he has to be a big part of that. So we'll see what they do with that, but obviously looking forward to this. My concern prior to Elimination Chamber, like even if John Cena was going to win, I predicted John Cena to win. I didn't think that heel turn was going to happen at Elimination Chamber. I thought, like, hear me out, The Rock special guest referee for this match at WrestleMania 41, and then we get the turn then, whether it is Cody, whether it is John Cena, whoever it might be. But the fear that I had, if this was going to be a one-on-one match, nobody turned ahead of time, I think you would have had a lot of people like clamoring for CM Punk to be added to this, as opposed to potentially in like the Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns triple threat that's been discussed. And like, I think now, no, like we clearly as a community, a wrestling community, want this one-on-one singles match between Cody Rhodes and John Cena. Obviously, not gonna give a prediction on it. As I said, right now, we'll get into that like maybe the week before the event, maybe the weekend of. So, but yeah, John Cena, Cody Rhodes, not much else to say on it. Obviously, already been announced as well. World Heavyweight Championship, Gunther and Jey Uso, the winner of the Royal Rumble. Jey Uso challenging Gunther, trying to get that strap. The chase has been like through 2024, 2025. It's been about this. He had a World Heavyweight Championship match, if you guys remember, was Damian Priest challenger at Backlash, the PLE immediately after Damian Priest won the championship at WrestleMania 40. Jey Uso was a challenger for the title then. He's kind of been like in that picture, obviously winning the Intercontinental Championship for like a month in 2024. But this chase is what it's been about. Obviously, like most over guy in the company in terms of the crowd reaction that he gets and stuff like that. Again, not going to give you a prediction in terms of the match itself, but I don't need to predict this match is going to be on the card. We know that's going to be on the card. So not too much else to say. The last one that is a given, obviously, Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte Flair is going to take place at this event. Charlotte Flair winning the Royal Rumble, challenging Tiffany Stratton. One thing that I do want to say on here, just in case somebody didn't watch one of the other videos that I wanted to, and I aired this grievance, I really think we got to get away from the Royal Rumble winner announcing who they're going after immediately after winning the Royal Rumble. Like, I get that maybe you feel like you want that time to build, but like, I'm all for the speculation. And I also think when you announce it so far in advance, in the case of like the Elimination Chamber, obviously you're eliminating half the field from the Elimination Chamber. Like, like logically, they can't win. Let's take a look at the men's, for example, right? If Jey Uso, now, like, we knew he was going to challenge Gunther, right? But like, if there was any doubt about that, Logan Paul can make sense to challenge Gunther. Damian Priest can make sense to challenge Gunther. But because we knew it was going after Cody Rhodes, we knew that those people were not going to be part of the field. In the case of the women, did we really think, like, although we got a title change, so in terms of the Women's World Championship, the Elimination Chamber, not giving Naomi a shot, not giving Alexa Bliss a shot, Roxanne Perez even and Bailey. Like, I would have loved to have seen Roxanne Perez pull the trigger on that, strap a rocket to her. I would have loved if that would have been the direction they went. But anyways, not to steer too far off track here. But yeah, I would have the Royal Rumble winner stop announcing immediately after who they're going after, and maybe like let the anticipation build a little bit in terms of who they're going after. So this is not one that is, now we're getting into ones that are not made official, but like looks like we're heading down that path. As of right now, I mentioned there was a title change, Women's World Championship. Io Sky defeated Rhea Ripley. So right now, Io Sky versus Bianca Belair, Bianca winning the Elimination Chamber, is that championship match at WrestleMania 41. Just a singles match, Io Sky, Bianca Belair. Like, Rhea's got to be part of this, right? I don't know where Rhea Ripley goes to if she is not included in this triple threat match. So I'm under the assumption this is the direction that they're going to go. How do we get to it? Like, I saw some people trying to say like Rhea's gonna say, her and Bianca were shoving or what, like it should have been a disqualification. That doesn't seem like something that Rhea would do, like unless we're getting like a character change type thing going on with Rhea. I don't foresee that. I don't know how we get to this. Is it Io realizing that like Rhea, even though it was her fault that Io was costed in that elimination chamber qualifying match, Rhea gave her a shot. This is going to be like her repaying her for doing so, is allowing her to also be, I don't know how we get here. This has to be the path though. Like, what is Rhea doing at WrestleMania 41 if it's not being involved for the world championship? I don't see it. Another one that I think pretty well forecasted here. We're going to get Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton on WrestleMania 41. Randy Orton returning to Elimination Chamber, going after Kevin Owens after Kevin Owens beat Sami Zayn. That was my one miss from the Elimination Chamber. I predicted both winners of the chambers correctly. I also obviously got Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus winning their match. But I thought Randy Orton was going to come back during that unsanctioned match and not afterwards. So I had him allowing Sami Zayn to win that match, his involvement allowing Sami Zayn to win that match. That didn't happen. He returns afterwards after Kevin Owens had won. So that sets this up. We'll see when Kevin Owens comes back. They're obviously going to build to this. Randy Orton, great promo to open up SmackDown this past week. Not so, pointed at Kevin Owens to a degree, but also calling out John Cena, talking about giving rock bottom a different name, different meaning. Absolutely awesome stuff from Randy Orton. I'm looking forward to this build for sure. This is going to be great. These two are awesome. Can't wait to see it. 2 WrestleManias in a row. Obviously, WrestleMania 40 also had the inclusion of Logan Paul in a U.S. Championship match. But these two still involved with each other now, back-to-back WrestleManias. Can we carry this out to WrestleMania? This is something that I would say I expect, but also somebody pitched something to me recently. My dude, Nick Belsky, Bell to Bell podcast, does great stuff over there. Be sure to check that out. I threw this idea out at him, Bailey versus Roxanne Perez, and he thinks that we're going to get, like a multi-woman intercontinental championship match. And that could certainly make sense. These two and Lyra Valkyria. I got something else going on with Lyra. But that would certainly be a way to get her on the card in a more high profile match than I have her in. So I definitely don't mind that. It just seems like this is going to continue. Like, Roxanne Perez could pull double duty this weekend. Maybe she's on Stand and Deliver and also does WrestleMania 41. That would be crazy. But I like either path, to be honest with you. But for right now, I got one-on-one match with Bailey. I think they're going to carry this feud out. A lot of hatred, a lot of animosity. Seems like it's kind of on site between the two of them. So yeah, Bailey, Roxanne Perez there. Sticking with the women. It's Naomi and Jade Cargill, right? Like, if Bianca's going that direction, it seems like she kind of took herself out of this, at least for the time being, and just was like, hey, Jade, go get her. And I'm taking a step back on SmackDown. So Naomi and Jade Cargill, I think, are going to have this match here again. Like, I can't wait to see Like Naomi, I'm curious to see if we get her discussing like leaving the company within these promos, if she brings up some of the potential real life heat that there's been going on with Jade Cargill. Like this could get pretty tenuous, in my opinion. So I'm excited to see where this goes. But yeah, like a lot of people are clamoring for Jade Cargill Bianca at this WrestleMania. We're not there yet. Maybe that's a WrestleMania 42 match that we have that much longer to build to. But yeah, we're not there. This is one a lot of people do not want to see. We'll see how they get this, to the level where people are excited about it, or if they can. Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. A lot of people think that this is, beneath Drew at this point, based off what he did, obviously in 2024, one of the best years in the company for Drew McIntyre, one of the MVPs of the company. And I get it. I understand the frustration for sure. And that's not to take anything away from Damian Priest, but I think a lot of people were like, this should have been a guy, for John Cena potentially in his last WrestleMania. This should have been a guy potentially to align himself with The Rock and go after Cody Rhodes. So certainly I can, and obviously the unfinished business that I feel like he'll have forever with Roman Reigns and the bloodline and, Punk and Rollins doing their stuff. But this is the direction that we're heading. They just attacked each other on this past SmackDown as well. I don't see a way that this isn't the WrestleMania match, despite the reports that potentially they're pivoting away from this. This certainly looks like the direction that we're going. So triple threat match, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk. I'm excited for it, but like, this to me, they're trying to tell too many things at one within one. Like these are matches that I want to see as singles matches. Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns versus CM Punk versus Seth Rollins, which we're going to get in a steel cage, Madison Square Garden. I think that's Roman Reigns' return going to happen in that one, and we'll see where things go from there. Is it Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins setting up a one-on-one match in CM Punk's favor is to be added? Triple threat match. We'll see. We'll see if that favor ever comes to fruition or what exactly it was. Yeah, it's just like, don't get me wrong. I'm just worried that this is going to take a higher precedent on the card than I feel like it should. And that's not to say again that I'm not excited for it. It's just as individual stories, I would be more excited for it than just kind of throwing it all together into one triple threat match. So, but I think that's the direction that we're heading right now. Like, I don't know what CM Punk does if it's not getting involved with this, or like, I don't know what any one of these guys do if it's not a triple threat match. Basically, what I'm getting at. So, all right, and now we're starting to get to stuff that I'm not necessarily like. Well, let me just pull it up. Yeah, yep. That's the direction I'm thinking we're going. AJ Styles versus Logan Paul. AJ Styles set to call out Logan Paul on this upcoming Raw at Madison Square Garden. And I really fear this direction we're heading in AJ Styles' second to last WrestleMania. Um, I don't know. It certainly seems that way. Again, Nick pitching to me the other day. Maybe both these guys are part of a multi-man intercontinental championship match. I could certainly see that being the case. Like Braun Breaker, Finn Balor, and these two. I have other plans for Finn Balor, and I have other plans for the Intercontinental Championship, also involving a fatal four-way, oddly enough, just none of the same wrestlers besides Braun Breaker being involved in it. But yeah, AJ's calling him out on Monday. I think that this is going to be a build. Logan's obviously like checks boxes in terms of like legend at these high profile matches at these big events. So I'm thinking that this is certainly the direction that they're going as of right now. That's what I see the path being. Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu. How do we get from where we're at now to this being a singles match in a month and a half? We'll see if we can do it. Again, kind of one of those things. It's like, what's the path if it's not this? I guess you could have like maybe Jacob challenging for the U.S. Championship now that it's back on LA Knight, and we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, there's obviously been some growing tension within the I don't even do they even call themselves the New Bloodline? I don't even know what they're being called right now, but whatever's going on over there, Jacob Fatu certainly outshining Solo Sikoa, and I think that is going to eventually lead to this dissension growing to be too much, and Jacob Fatu wanting to step out of the shadow that he's not even in. I don't think in anybody's mind, but for kayfabe, we'll pretend that Solo Sikoa is still the leader of that faction. But yeah, I think this is the path that we're heading. Does it happen at WrestleMania 41? For the time being, I'll say yes. It's just they really got to start heating this up if this is the direction that they're going to go. I mentioned I had other plans for Finn Balor. Again, two guys currently still in the same stable. Finn Balor, Dom Mysterio in a singles match. What do you do with I could see a different path for Finn Balor. I mentioned the multi-man Intercontinental Championship match potentially being something that we could do. But Finn Balor versus Dom Mysterio, I think, does make a ton of sense. Do we have the time to be able to tell this entire story to get us to WrestleMania 41, a singles match making sense there? We'll see. Again, I like it, and we're rolling with it for now. Let's go to that Intercontinental Championship match that I mentioned. Fatal four-way, Braun Breaker, Sheamus, Ludwig Kaiser, and Penta. Cero Miedo. I think he's got to be involved in this. I know Ray Phoenix is going to be signed to the company for sure. If he's not already, he will certainly be signed well in time for WrestleMania 41. I hold him out. Let him debut afterwards. I don't want him being involved in this right now. Let Penta go through this singles run at least through WrestleMania 41 and be a part of this match. This is going to be, if this is the way that we go here, be like my favorite, most anticipated match potentially on the entire card. No joke. I love the work that all these guys do, including Ludwig Kaiser, who I think is one of the most underrated dudes currently on the roster. Um, obviously Sheamus is going to be chasing that title. I think he's got to be in this picture. You're going to have him continuing to hover around until he finally does win that championship. Is it in this match? Obviously, you could have him win it without even beating Braun Breaker, kind of protect him a little bit, and then maybe he gets the rematch and quickly wins it back. I don't know, whatever direction. Or you could put Braun Breaker all of a sudden into the World Heavyweight Championship picture. Say Jey Uso beats Gunther in that. All of a sudden, Braun Breaker could go after the guy that he beat for the Intercontinental Championship, and they had that program with now for the World Heavyweight Championship. So just doing a little bit of fantasy booking. Again, not putting predictions on here, but maybe that's the path they want to go. Could they strap up Penta? I would love to see that. On the other side of things, the U.S. picture, you know what? Let's find a way to just get as many guys on the card that we feel like deserve to be in the card as we can. We're doing Fatal 4-Way over here as well. LA Knight, Carmelo Hayes, Jim Uso, and Andrade is the Fatal 4-Way here. Yeah, I put this together before Shinsuke even dropped the belt to LA Knight, but I just had, you got to get it off him. They had to get it off of him, and thank God they did. One of the worst title runs that I can remember. So thank goodness they took that strap off of Shin, put it back on LA Knight. I think this got to be a multi-man match. Andrade hasn't been doing a ton. Maybe it's not even a fatal four-way. Maybe it's a triple threat. LA Knight just now winning the title. Are we going to see like a, just a transitional thing going on here to get it to Carmelo, who I really want to see with this strap potentially? Or like, I'm not, Jimmy Uso, what a great moment that would be to have him. Maybe if it's before Jey Uso has his match, Jey Uso wins, and then they obviously get to have that great moment if they both have singles gold. So, yeah, again, my fantasy booking mind kind of turns on there. Sticking with okay, so now it's 4 teams instead of 4 individuals, but a ladder match. I feel like we got to have one of these, whether it's for one of the singles titles or this one. I think this one makes a ton of sense to do as a ladder match. Fatal 4-Way ladder match for the WWE Tag Team titles. DIY, Motor City Machine Guns, Pretty Deadly, and Street Profits. Pretty Deadly actually just won a number 1 contenders match. I think we're going to see some shenanigans take place within that. Street Profits have a title match coming up against DIY. There's just Los Stars has obviously been kind of lurking in there as well. You could probably add them if you want to have even more than 4 teams involved in this. SmackDown's tag division has been cooking. I think they've been above Raw. That tag match that they just had with the Creeds in the Raiders was awesome. So if they can continue to replicate that, maybe get some more tag teams involved, they could be within that same boat. But right now, they're not an even playing ground. SmackDown tag division has been awesome. So hopefully that continues. And I think this would be a great way to pay it off at WrestleMania 41, giving them a ladder match to cook with. Mentioned Lyra Valkyria. I don't know where you go from here. My hope, and it's not happening because I don't think she's coming back until after WrestleMania. And even if she came back right now, man, how do you get to this point for her? But my hope was Becky Lynch would come back and go down to the mid-card division to help elevate this title. She obviously had the program with Lyra in NXT, where Lyra was the one to beat her for the NXT championship, obviously before dropping it to Roxanne Perez. But Lyra, great NXT champion, inaugural Intercontinental Championship, when who she beat for that. Dakota Kai is who I have her facing here, because I just like, who else are you gonna have it? Like, Ivy Nile was the only other challenger that she's really had. Is it somebody that's not really in the picture right now? Is it, like I mentioned, Nick pitched to me, Bailey and Roxanne Perez being a part of this? Didn't have Dakota Kai in it, but maybe you could go with a 4-woman fatal 4-way with these two: Lyra Valkyria, Dakota Kai, and also Bailey, Roxanne Perez. Obviously, there's some history there between Bailey and Dakota Kai. So, I think that's potentially something that could happen, but for now, we're just sticking with a single match: Lyra Valkyria, Dakota Kai, for the women's international intercontinental championship. The U.S. title, again, it's like Chelsea Green has done great work with that title, but it's really just been her versus Michin. Zelina Vega now coming into the picture, like B-Fab's there, Piper Niven there right now on Chelsea Green's side. Just got Alba Fire in the mix, bringing her over. Obviously, way too early with her inclusion of turn, but maybe that is how they get Piper Niven out of that, is like kind of the same thing that we just saw with Candice LeRae and Tiffany Stratton under Nia Jax, right? Like, somebody else brought into the group, caused some dissension, ending like it looked like she was preferring Candice LeRae. Tiffany Stratton ends up turning, taking the title from Nia. Is that kind of a similar thing that we see here, where Piper Niven all of a sudden feels slighted by Alba Fire's entrance into the group? Potentially that's how we get a turn there, and it ends up being her challenging, because like Michin, another title loss, and I know that it was interference, Alba Fire getting involved with it. Zelina Vega, maybe it's just a one-on-one match. Zelina Vega actually hasn't challenged for this title yet since kind of inserting herself into the picture, so maybe that's the direction that we go. I think she'd be a great champion. I would have her be the second champion. I wanted Michin to win this title so bad. I think at some point she's going to, but it's just like, man, that I feel like it's kind of cold a little bit. Michin's one of my favorite women in the division, but like, can't just take loss after loss in championship matches and expect that hype train to keep rolling. So she's lost a little bit for me. We'll see if she can get built back up. And finally, I think you got to get New Day on the card with what they've been doing on Raw. They were going to want Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania, in my opinion. Maybe we go Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus New Day. Again, some of these are just like me throwing stuff at the wall and thinking that we got to get guys on the card. Notice I don't have Sami Zayn on here. Do we see like Sami Zayn carrying Cross? Is that kind of the story that's being told? To me, I would personally just rather see that Raw after Mania if they're going to do something like that. I don't think that's something I'm super interested in seeing on WrestleMania. Not that, like, I mean, I could say the same thing about some of these other matches, but like with Sammy, everything that just happened in Elimination Chamber, I could see him being held out through WrestleMania anyway. So won't be back in time. We'll see. We'll see what direction they go with that. I mean, even if he comes back and that's his WrestleMania match, like, really? That's his WrestleMania match? But it's a story that's being told right now, and you got to pay it off at some point. Is it going to be at WrestleMania or beyond? But yeah, Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus the New Day is the last match that I got here. Not saying that it's going to close out the show. Again, this was from like what's already been put out there. Very likely, I can see the story throwing stuff at the wall. Those are kind of like the tiers here in terms of the matches that I created for WrestleMania 41. Let me know what you guys think in the comments in terms of the matches that I've built here. If you feel like they're feasible, the route that you would go, how you want to see this play out, the build in general. Definitely want your guys' thoughts in the comments. Again, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell for me if you have not already. And yeah, that's it. Don't know when I'll drop another video or what it'll be about, but if you hit that notification bell, you'll never miss one. So until next time, we'll see you. Bye-bye.